Hi everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. I'm on my phone again because if you didn't know, if you weren't here yesterday, I cracked my iPad yesterday. So until we get the tempered glass, I will be filming on the phone, but I really like the phone, so we might just stay on the phone because I choose to. But let's get right to today's General Hospital recap. It was a really good episode today. It was a Friday episode, so you know what to expect. But let's start at the police station. So Dante and Nathan are going to tell Rick all the evidence they have against him. And I want to hear the evidence, but apparently we don't get to, because then when they cut to the whole thing, Dante's in the lobby with Jordan telling him that they laid everything out for him and he's considering his options. And Jordan tells Dante that Julian Jerome was in the DA's office when she got there. And Nathan comes out of the interrogation room and they talk a little bit about like what Rick's going to do, if he's going to cooperate, this, that, and the other thing. And then Mayor Lomax calls and asks about Rick being in custody and apparently being upset that they couldn't keep him in custody once they had arrested him, because he is the DA. And also down below at the jailhouse, Ava is so selfish, but what's new? And she resents that Morgan wants to move on with Kiki. She promises not to tell Kiki about their affair though. And then Julian visits Ava. He tells her he wasn't able to get the recording before the commissioner showed up. And Ava asks if she was right and if he was the one taking Sunny's shipments. We don't really get an answer to that. So has Ava really convinced herself that she did any of this for her daughters? Like, the fact that she even claims to care about Kiki is pretty much comical at this point, you know? Because nothing she's ever done. This has all been about her freedom, getting the recording, so like the charges can be dropped. Nothing she's ever done has been for her daughters, let alone for Kiki. Maybe you can make an argument that she did some of this for Avery, but none of it for Kiki. It almost makes me believe some of the theories. Maybe I haven't read it on the internet. My mom has a theory that Kiki isn't actually Ava's, and that Kiki might be Nina's, like the baby she thought she lost, you know, because she was in the coma. But that's kind of a far out theory, but like stuff like this makes me kind of think, what if it's true? I mean, my mom's pretty, you know, she comes up with some stuff and then you're like, oh, that's what happened. But anyway, I got off topic. So she tells Julian about Morgan being with him, and he tells her to cut her losses. She gets really upset. She's like, can't you understand, like, I have real feelings for him? And Julian's like, he's your daughter's boyfriend. Like, what do you want me to do? So, then she tells him Morgan ended it for good because he's trying to make it work with Kiki, and Julian can tell she can't stand the idea. And she's just upset that about Morgan, and apparently not so much about facing life in prison. I don't know, priorities much. And she tells Julian not to tell anyone, especially not Kiki. In another part of the jailhouse, I wonder if like noise doesn't travel so well, because Franco tells Kiki about Morgan and Ava, that they were sleeping together behind her back. And Kiki doesn't want to believe it. She tries to justify everything he says. Then he tells her mother admitted it to him. And he tells her that he didn't tell her because Ava offered to help him with Nina. She has a few choice words for him after that revelation. So he tells her the reason he waved the knife in Morgan's face was because of him cheating on Kiki, and that he was desperate. And she says, desperate enough to kill my father? I think so. Well, I don't think so anymore. But that's just because I've seen this episode of General Hospital. So she really thinks Morgan could have done it, and she says if she knew about the cheating sooner, her father still might be alive. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. And then she leaves abruptly. At the courthouse, it's time for Nina's arraignment, and Rick is taking a really, really long time. I wonder why. And Madeline shows up. She's playing concerned mom very well. And Nina brings up the document and tells her that she doesn't have it. So Madeline lays it on pretty thick. Is it possible that Madeline did do it? Someone brought that up, like, right in the beginning. But, you know, I was so, like, you know, what's going on here, that, you know, whatever. I talk about that a little later in today's video. So the new acting DA comes in, and Alexis thinks the delay is because Rick had to recuse himself. So then Nina pleads not guilty and tries to defend Franco at the same time, but now is not the time. Rick walks in. I'm really confused at this point. Nina gets denied bail. Rick says there's nothing he can do. And then when Nina and Alexis leave, Madeline and Rick talk, and Madeline asks him if he has the document, and he says he ran into a snag getting it. He tells her about being in custody, and she asks about the document again. He says he got it and hands her a piece of paper. And then Nina is back in lockup. Franco's there. She tells him she pleaded not guilty. She also tells him she didn't tip them off about, she figured out that they were playing her the whole time with these hallucinations. At the Haunted Star, wouldn't you know it, the lead actress bails because she got booked on a part of Game of Thrones. So Dylan wants Lulu to be the starring role because no one else he auditioned was as good as her when she read through it. And Maxie then comes in and tells him that Reeves got a job offer he couldn't refuse. He jokingly says Game of Thrones, and she said, yeah, how did you know? Haha. So Maxie tells Lulu, So Dylan talks about how he wants Lulu to be the lead role. Maxie tells her she just has to do the movie. And Lulu says, if you're so adamant and passionate about it, why don't you do the movie? So this will be interesting. At Sunny's place, Sunny wants to put off talking to Morgan about this whole thing, but Carly wants it addressed ASAP. So Sunny's too afraid of losing Morgan, but Carly insists they face whatever comes and talk to him about it. So Morgan comes home and tells them he broke it off with Ava for real. He feels great and he feels free. And she starts to have the talk with him, about him. She brings up Dr. Collins. He kind of turns on them and accuses them of thinking he's crazy. And then Sunny says it. Bipolar. He gets really defensive. They dredge up all the stuff he's done since he's come back. They say it's a pattern. Sunny really has taken over at this point, though. So Sunny starts talking about his life and his experiences, and it gets super real, super fast. And arguably, I think it's one of those scenes that can go down in soap history. If someone uploaded to YouTube, it'd have 1 million hits by the end of the next 5 years. So Morgan rationalizes that Ava was the disease in his life and now he's rid of her, and he says all he needs is Kiki and everything's fine, and he appreciates their concern. He leaves to go meet Kiki at Silas's place for the first time since he died. At Silas's place, Kiki arrives at the apartment. She's immediately sad and overwhelmed. She talks to the picture of her and Silas. She knows he was going to tell her about Morgan and Ava, and then there's a knock at the door. And wouldn't you know, it's Morgan. And the end scene. It's pretty special when I have a separate part at the end for the end scene. So Rick shows Madeline the document, and turns out at the bottom is Silas's signature. So he asks her how she got Silas to sign it. And then it cuts to a flashback scene of Madeline knocking on Silas's door. Dang, y'all. Y'all called it. You got it. I was so wrapped up in the present and what was going on that I was not looking at the big picture. But I think Madeline is our killer now. Y'all called it. You did. But that is it. I'm just checking. Yeah, that is it for today's General Hospital recap. If you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up. I will see you Monday for more General Hospital, and I hope you have a great weekend. And also, we have a link down below for our YouCaring site. It's to raise money for our animal sanctuary, so if you could please donate, or at the very least share, so that friends, family, whatever, Facebook friends, maybe they have an extra $1 or so to donate. It would mean so much. And I will see you Monday for more General Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye!